Now, I know I wasn't supposed to introduce her, but I'm gonna bring her up. And I want to say this publicly because we don't know how long we're gonna be together. Coming to the State House is a scary place. It's not that many women that are here, and that women that you can talk to and you can lean on. The senator and I tell you, we go to a lot of events together. I represent the East Side, she represents the West Side, and I really do feel like she's been my sister this time of being at the State House. And so term limits are terrible, and both of us are termed out. But every day from the time I've been here at the State House, she's been right there next to me. So I want to publicly thank you for being a great leader, as a minority leader, but also as a leader in our community. So without further ado, our wonderful state senator should have been our U.S. senator. The Democratic leader in the state Senate, Nickie Antonio.
The amazing Juanita Brun. You don't mind if I stand in front of you, do you? Yeah. Go right.
Have a seat.
Yeah. Nah, I don't want to sit on his lap. How are you?
All right.
Thank you for being honest. I feel your pain. I share it. I just drove back from Columbus today, a little while ago. And, it's interesting, we just, as Representative Brent said, we just did the State of the State. And the state of the state is uncertain. The state of our country is uncertain. And uncertainty is the worst. It really is the worst. Because when something terrible happens, and it's happened, then we pull ourselves together and figure out how to deal with it. Something wonderful happens, hopefully we all know how to celebrate when something great happens, but this place in between, I think, is the most difficult for most of us, for sure, because we just don't know. This is all intentional.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is intentional. This is part of the plan, part of Project 2025, part of the playbook. And I echo what Representative Brent said in terms of everything that's happening on the federal level is affecting us at the state level. We've been at it a little bit longer here in Ohio because we have had majority extremist Republican rule for quite a while now. And there's been this slow chipping away and a couple steps forward. Every once in a while, because of all of you in this room, there's been pushback and there's been delay. As in Senate Bill 83 that did not pass. Yes, you could clap for that. You all did that. You stopped it. And then, unfortunately, Senate Bill 1, which just came out of the House, has to come back to the Senate next week for concurrence. Sadly, there will be concurrence on the Republicans' part. They're very clear about that. The Democrats will push back and will not accept it. But you slowed the tide, and I have to say that slowing the tide is a win. We just have to acknowledge that, and we have to take a moment to breathe it in as we continue to fight and push forward. I've been in the legislature since 2011. I walked in the door with Senate Bill 5 fight for the bargaining rights of public employees. Thank you. And again, it was because of so many people that came, that pushed back. We had a referendum. People who were not part of labor unions joined in the fight. They voted overwhelming majority across the state voted because they understood. First, they come for the trade unionists. And then they come for the next group, and the next group. And finally, as Pastor Niemöller said during World War II, and then they came for me and there was no one left to speak up for me. We absolutely, I believe, in the state of Ohio and in the communities that are paying attention, understand that and are pushing back. The fact that you're all here tonight tells me, and don't let anyone ever tell you that woke is a bad thing,
We're all woke.
by the way. I mean, no, what's the opposite? Being asleep? I don't know. You know, it's like I don't want to be asleep. I want to be awake. I want to be paying attention. Just like diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility are all they're building blocks of the foundation of our democracy. We should be proud of it. One little tidbit from the State House, Senator, see, I already called you Senator, I gave you a promotion. Representative Brent did a great job talking about some of the key issues that are coming up with our budget and continue to, and the ironies and the discrepancies about what's a priority to fund by the majority. One of the things that came up in the past 2 weeks in the House was that there are a few of our wonderful colleagues who think they should start a Doge caucus.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I sat down with my staff, and in less than 5 minutes, I think it took us about 2 minutes, we came up with the following list of accountability, and this was just systems in place and process in place, and this was a quick read. The Controlling Board, JLEC, JMOC, JCAR, Occupation Licensing and Review, Sunset Review, Senate House Committees, Government Oversight and Reform, Local Government, General Government, Finance, Lean Ohio, Innovate Ohio, and the budget, the biennium budget, and the capital budget, and the transportation budget. There's a whole lot of accountability and looking at what we do right now that is totally not necessary, but it's this copycat behavior that we see going on. Everything that's happening at the federal level in the executive office, and I use the term loosely, is also something that they'd like to copycat. Doesn't mean we need it, doesn't mean it's a threat, doesn't mean there's anything wrong at the state level, quite the contrary. But this is the copycat. Because, and I'm sure many of you know this, but I just want to make sure, as you're all here, and as we're talking about this, that we know how high the stakes are.
Whoa.
Because every single action that you're seeing is coming from the authoritarian playbook.
Tyrants.
Politicizing independent institutions, spreading disinformation, aggrandizing executive power, quashing dissent, scapegoating vulnerable communities, corrupting elections, and stoking violence. This is our life right now, sadly. And to the folks who spoke earlier, I was a teacher of kids with special needs. I was a special education teacher before that was my first job. Thank you. It was the job that motivated me to run for office. Do y'all hear me? Because somebody in this room called me, talked to me. It was the thing that motivated me to run for office. Because I asked about all the policies. Why are we doing what we're doing? And it always came back to some kind of a policy that the legislature or Congress was deciding. Public Law 94-142 was burned into my brain. That was the law that opened the doors for kids with special needs to walk into the school. A lot of them were kept at home. Not only walk into the school, but go to the least restricted environment to get their education, intersperse and mingle with other kids with different abilities, so that everybody learned from everybody. Because we all benefit from that, right? So the final thing I want to say, because I know it's late, and I know we have a lot to do, but I also don't usually use my phone to do this kind of stuff, but it's been one of those weeks. And, and so, let me close that. There we go. I keep saying that George Orwell, who wrote 1984, by the way, he wrote that in the 40s. You all know that, right? Yeah. I keep telling young people to read it, and the young people who have read it and they come back to me say, how did he know? How did he do that? Because he literally was describing our lives right now and our situation. And I said, well, sometimes it's important for us to see that, to hear that, to reflect. And I think to acknowledge in this time period the reality of our situation, because I think many of us, I know it happens for me, I have been questioning my sanity, doing a reality check for myself. Am I really going too far with this?
No.
And I came to that answer as well. So I want to leave you with not the authoritarian playbook, but actually what we do to protect and to fight our democracy. First of all, learn what in the world is going on. You absolutely are doing that. Build community. Representative Brent was right. This is an opportunity to organize. Organizing, collectively, putting ourselves in a room with other folks who are not just feeling what we're feeling and seeing what we're seeing, but also want to strategize about what we can do on the small, local level, as well as the big stuff. Because every moment, every movement you make towards some kind of change, some kind of resistance, makes a difference. It absolutely makes a difference. Yes? Engage in political action. And there's a lot of other things, but in the interest of time, one of the things that I think is really, really important for all of us to keep in mind, when you go out, when you stand in solidarity with everyone and everything that's going on, the most important thing that we can all do to be effective is engage in peaceful protest. For so many reasons, the one kind of protest throughout all of the years, all of the decades that protest has been effective. It is effective when it's nonviolent. And it's really, really important. There are people who do trainings in nonviolent protest. I think we should all get ourselves trained. Yeah. We should be prepared. We should bring friends with us to trainings like that. Folks can conduct those trainings who know how to organize big groups like this. Over the years, I've participated in quite a few of those kinds of trainings. And I'm just absolutely, it is the thing, because the authoritarians, the way they take us down is they want an excuse to declare martial law. We cannot give them, now they can do it on their own, But we will not give them that opportunity. And through building these kinds of networks and skill building, we can, I believe, push back, persevere, repeat often, but ultimately, we take back our democracy. Thank you.